All right, guys. Sorry, the first video is not working. It must have been too long, so I'm gonna cut it down and redo the lesson. So right now we're gonna talk about box plots. Okay. The one thing you have to know about box plots is it's all it is the measure of variations, the data. Okay. So right now we have a box plot. A box plot consists of a whisker, a box, and a whisker. Okay. These are your five measures of variation inside this data. So this is what makes it up. Okay. So you're going to use your notes to answer the questions from this video. So you're going to watch the video and then do your notes. Okay. So we are going to interpret this box plot right here, and you're going to figure out how to do the five measures of variation. So right now, this dot right here represents it's above the number 2, which means that that's the lowest number in your data set. Okay. So that is the beginning of your box plot. That represents the lowest number. Okay. Therefore, that dot is the end of your box plot, which represents the greatest number. Okay. So what do we know from last week's lesson? When you know the greatest number and the lowest number is when you subtract them, you get the range. This is how you find the range of your measures of variation. The last dot minus the first dot. Okay, that's the range of your box plot right there. So if we go in order, ready? So now the beginning of your box right here is known as the first quartile. Okay, that is where the first quartile is located. What do you think that line is going to be? That line represents the middle of the box plot. That's right, that's the median. And then the end of your box, what do you think it's going to be? If that's the first quartile median, that one's going to be the third quartile. So right there is all your information from that box plot. From this box plot, you now can answer your measures of variation. Okay? But before we do that, I want to talk to you. Each one of these sections, there's a whisker, a box, and whisker. So there's 2 whiskers and 2 boxes in every box plot. It doesn't matter what this looks like, okay? This is about variation, which means spread. So you can see that this whisker is longer than that box. It has the same amount of data in it. What percent will each one of these be worth if they all have the equal amount of data? And the answer is 25%. So each part of this box plot is worth 25%. If it looks longer than the other one, that doesn't mean more data is there. That just means that data is more spread apart. And that's the whole purpose of a box plot, is to show variation, to show spread. Okay? So we're going to talk about this tomorrow. We're going to dig deeper into it, but this is your main part right here. This is about spread of data. Okay? Each part is worth 25%. So now let's go answer the questions below. So A, 2 would be the what? So let's look at 2. If there's 2, that dot, 2 would be the lowest number. 4, if 4 is right here, look what that starts with there. 4 represents the first quartile. So all you're doing, instead of figuring the data out, you're now just interpreting it from a box plot, okay? 5, look where 5 would be. Come up here. 5 is the median. Third quartile, the number 8. 8 is the third quartile. It's located at the end of the box. 8 is the end of the box. And that dot right there is 12, which is the greatest number. So how do I find the IQR? Now remember, this is the IQR right here. That's the IQR. That's your box. IQR is third quartile minus first quartile. Well, the third quartile is 8, the first quartile is 4, so your IQR would be 4. 8 minus 4 is 4. And your range is biggest minus smallest. Your range is 12 minus 2, so your range would be 10. Again, 2 is the lowest number. 4 is the first quartile. 5 is the median. 8 is the third quartile. 12 is the greatest number. Your IQR is 8 minus 4, and your range is 12 minus 2, which is 10. Each quartile is worth what percent? 25%. How many quartiles are there if they're each worth 25%? 4 quartiles. This box plot does not measure quantity, but it measures spread of data. There are 2 whiskers and 2 boxes in each box plot. 2 whiskers, 2 boxes. Okay? All right. So now we're going to try one real quick together by doing the measure of variation. Okay. So right here. So now let's do this together. So I'm going to ask you to do the measures of variation. And we know the measure of variation are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're median, first quartile, third quartile, IQR, and range. You guys all did a good job with that last week, okay? So now, the nice thing is we don't have any data to interpret. We're just going to interpret this box plot. So number 1, the median. Ready? Where's the median located from our notes? It's located in the middle of the box. I should say it's a line in the box. It could be over here, it could be over here, but right here is the median. So that line is our median. Wherever that line is, that number is our median. So that number is 15. First quartile. Again, where was first quartile? The beginning of the box. This is the first quartile. So this is the median. This is the first quartile. So what number would be the first quartile? Look right down at the number 10. The third quartile is the end of the box, right here. So this number, whatever that is the third quartile, which is the number 20. So once you have that, you have the rest of the data, okay? So what's our IQR? You do 3Q minus 1Q, so 20 minus 10 is 10. 20 minus 10 is 10. Now remember, this is your IQR, the length of that box. So that box is the interquartile range. So the range of the whole box is dot to dot. So we got 25 is the greatest number, 5 is the smallest number. 25 minus 5 is, that's right, 20. The range is 20. That is how you interpret a box plot, by breaking down each individual measure of variation. So again, real quick, the median is where the line is in the middle. So let's try this one more time. And we're just going to label it. We don't worry about numbers. I just want you to see. Okay, ready? 5 measure variation, 1, the median. Where would the median be? The median is that line. See how it's not in the middle, but it's in the box? That's the median. Then if that's the median, the first quartile starts the box. That is the first quartile right there, the beginning of your box. The third quartile will be the end of your box. What does that box stand for? IQR. That's your interquartile range. That's the distance from 3Q to 1Q. And how do you find the range? Dot minus first dot. Greatest number minus smallest number is how you find the range. Okay? That is a box plot. That's how you interpret it. That's all we're going to do this week is to interpret a box plot. Next week after Easter, we'll make it. Okay? That's all I want you to focus on. Get on Mathia today. Try to get caught up and get to this part. This will help you tremendously with everything. Hopefully everything's going well. If you have any questions, use this. Use your notes. Each quartile is worth 25%. There are 4 quartiles. Thank you guys. Work hard, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.